Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Greatest Book Never Published podcast, where we read the greatest book never published. It's The Infection. You see the cover of the book right there. I wrote this book when I was about 13, and we're reading it now in this podcast, and that's what the podcast is about. If you haven't listened to all the previous episodes, definitely go check those out first, because otherwise you'll be lost. You won't know what's going on. But anyways, I'm Nim.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Steve.
And let's get into it. So, where we left off last week, we're definitely close to the end. We have 3 episodes. Well, after today's episode, we'll have only 2 left, actually. So we're getting down to the wire here. Where did we leave off? We're definitely in like that climax territory where we're really getting to the end.
Jameson woke up on the ground and is gonna fight. What's his name?
After meeting his dad in heaven or whatever.
His grandpa.
Yeah. Not his dad, his grandpa.
Steve is about to fight.
Steve met the
Whiplash.
grandpa.
Whiplash.
He died. That's crazy though. Like Zach's grandpa just like died in his arms, and he didn't even know it was his grandpa. That's actually wild.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, and then each one of them is fighting a different bad guy. So Jameson is fighting Deathblade. Steven is fighting Whiplash, and Zach's fighting Kingkiller.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate and his group of guys with like Mr. Black and all the agents all got captured by Lyle Crape, but he downloaded the launch code
iPhone
sequence
6.
to his iPhone 6 because it has a fingerprint scanner. I think that was the first. I think that actually was the first iPhone with a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah.
So he can use it to, because it needs his fingerprint to scan for him to like do the thing, because his is the only fingerprint that's in the system. Anyways, chapter 73. Stephen Richards. I duck as Whiplash sends his whip flying at me. There's a lot of good ducking skills in this book, gotta say. Mr. Black's not the only one who can duck. I send a shockwave at him, which knocks him off of the platform. That was easier than I thought. I walk up to the edge to see if he fell. I don't see him. Next thing I know, I get whipped. The whip sends a shock through my body and knocks me over the edge. I fall with no way to get back up. What now? I can't fly. There's no possible way for me to survive at this point. I will die. What can I do? I guess I could pray to God to help me. Oh, boy. Why would he listen to me, though? I practically laughed in his face. But now I feel almost like I actually do believe he exists. Well, here goes. God. I know I've been a complete jerk to you, and that I probably deserve to die, but please, could you save me? They need me to help stop Snake and save the world. Could you at least keep me alive just a little longer? Just until we stop Snake, and I tell Abigail that she's my sister. After that, you can do anything you want to me. Just please let me have a little longer. I believe in you. I believe that your son came to save us from sin. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid of dying without accomplishing my mission in life. Please give me a way out of this. So does he like officially pray to God and confess his sins and become an official Christian now? I guess. While falling to his death?
I guess.
I should just boom himself back up.
And then it hits me. I now know exactly what to do. It's as if God just told me how I can survive. Wow. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but okay. I am now just feet from the ground. I use all my strength to send the biggest shockwave I can towards the ground. It causes me to launch up in the air. It's as if I am flying. I see the floating platform and grab onto it. I pull myself up and stand, facing Whiplash again. You can't kill me that easily, I say with a smile. As he sends his whips at me a few times, I zoom out of the way and quickly move closer to him. Once I am right next to him, I rip the whips out of his hands and whip his legs, causing him to fall down, his legs bloody and useless. Congratulations, Whiplash says. You, senor, are the first person ever to defeat me. Now kill me. No, I say as I drop the whips. You deserve to live just as much as I do. You will be locked up. That is an unwise decision, amigo. I have escaped prison many times before. I can certainly do it again.
Wait, if no one's ever beaten him before, then how was he in prison before?
How has he escaped prison before?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. I think he lied. I think he just lied. You're the first person to beat me. Huh. Actually, I get beat every other Tuesday, but okay. Somebody beating me and putting me in prison? I call that Tuesday. Should I kill him? I don't know. I don't know what God would want me to do. Before I had that prayer, I know that I wouldn't hesitate
just cut off his
to
hand.
kill him.
Then he can't use his whips anymore.
There you go. I know before I had that prayer, I wouldn't have hesitated to kill him. I guess becoming a Christian does change you. I now wonder, what would Jesus do? I have never read the Bible, so I have no idea what Jesus was like. It's like, what would Jesus do? No, like, I'm seriously asking, what the heck would he do? I have no clue what Jesus does. He, like, walks on water or something like that. I don't know, that's about all I know. Turn water into wine. What would be the right thing to do? Whiplash begins to reach his hand toward one of the whips. I realize this, grab the whip, and whip his neck as hard as I can. His head comes clean off. Holy crap! Dude. Dude.
Wow.
I did not expect
Just
that.
murders him right there on the spot.
I honestly could not remember what actually happened.
Wow.
I did not expect that.
Clean off.
Dude. Just whipped his head right off. Oh my
That is
gosh.
definitely rated R.
I forgot about that. Oh my god. Wow. Dude, I had some violent imagery in my head as a kid. Alright, that was the end of that chapter. So
Wow.
Whiplash is dead.
He's donezo. He is no more.
I think he was one of those
Wow.
characters where I was like, he's kind of a boring villain. I don't really want to use him
Just
again.
kill
Might
him
as well
off.
just kill him off.
Kill him in the most
You know,
gruesome way possible.
I don't know for sure. I don't want to say because I don't know for sure, but like my guess is that King Killer probably doesn't die just because like I like the character a lot more. So I was like, I want to use him in the future. I don't want him to die.
I hope Blade guy dies. I don't like him very much.
Deathblade.
He kind of sucks.
He does.
He's kind of a funny villain though, because he just talks about he's the best assassin ever, and then just gets beat by 3 teenagers.
he's like a C tier villain, but he's like acting like he's the best.
Yeah, when he lands on the helicopter to get him the second time, he's like, "I will not fail again," and then he just gets tackled out of the helicopter. He falls to the ground.
Oh, he's such an idiot. Yeah. Whiplash actually did do some damage. Like he did some, like
Yeah.
chapter. Not as good as King Killer, but he did something. Chapter 74. Zach Thompson. Lead all these people to the hangar and get them out of here as soon as possible, I say to Claire Red. I'll stay here and hold him off. I know this guy. Oh, I know this guy, Red says. There's no way you can handle him by yourself. Then you don't know me at all, I say as I put my helmet back on. Oh, that's a good line. Go. She nods her head and leads all the people away. King Killer and I are the only ones left standing here. So, I see you've escaped, King Killer says, just after everyone leaves. Last time I faced you, I was ordered to keep you alive. Not this time. So, like, the reason they were ordered to not kill them before is because they wanted to study their DNA and stuff. But the DNA was destroyed. But now they want to kill them again. So, like, do they actually still have some of the DNA and we just don't know about it?
Maybe.
Interesting. Because, like, why else would they be like, yeah, we're
You gotta think about it. The doctor guy still had the gun that he already made with the Zach
Oh, that's
and
true.
Jameson's. He just never got Steve's DNA for it.
Yeah. Wasn't there, like, a part where he, like, just very quickly stabbed Steven for his DNA or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
but he
it
didn't
wasn't.
get away with that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
I think.
Keep you alive. Not this time. I run at him, my arms solid. He pulls out 2 swords and blocks them with my arms. What? Blocks them with my arms. Blocks my arms with them is probably what I meant to say. He sends another blow. I block it. This keeps going on. So he's doing the sword fight with his arms again. Just so you know, you can't melt these swords in your plasma phase, Killer says. They are made by the strongest metal known to man. It is an alloy
Vibranium.
that was created many years ago by... It was an alloy that was created many years ago by Wan Koi-yin, a Japanese legend. It's funny.
I wonder where you got that idea from.
I don't know. He was said to have only created one sword out of the metal, a sword known as the Red Blade. Oh, I remember this.
Oh, he's the red blade. He has the
He
red blade.
No, these are the different ones.
Oh,
They said he only made one. Yeah, I remember this. He died, and the secret to creating his metal was wet metal with him. The Red Blade has been passed down and still exists today. No one knows this, but he actually created 3 swords. These are the other 2, the Black Blades. I was just giving him a history lesson about his swords while they're fighting. I love when villains do stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like,
Hey, you like my swords?
He's like,
guess where I got them from.
because it matters that I'm going to tell you this because I'm about to kill you.
I'm about to kill you. The Black Blades. That name does fit since the blades are black.
Hope he said that to him.
No, it's not something you said out loud.
Oh, you're just thinking.
That would be hilarious.
Well,
the
it does
name
fit. They are black.
Those blades are black. Wait, they are? I didn't notice. I'm colorblind. Although, I guess it's black, so if you're colorblind, you'd still be able to tell black. What's black?
Yeah, I'd say.
Very interesting story, I say. But I can still defeat you. Why are you doing this anyway? What do you get out of it? He's like a bounty hunter. You know that, right?
He's
You have
probably
no-
getting paid real good.
You have no idea what I get out of it. Deathblade, Whiplash, and I have all been promised a high position in Crape's army. Oh. Is that really worth it? Crape doesn't care about you. He's just using you. Once he's done with you, he'll just get rid of you. There's no point in helping him. How do you know that? You don't know that much about what if Crape would actually do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
but-
do know that Crape is just a pawn in all this.
Well, Crape is a pawn. That's true.
Yeah.
You really Yeah, we found out. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
You really
maybe.
think you can make me change my mind? Killer says as he knocks me to the ground. Are you really that ignorant? By my calculations, helping him would be more beneficial than not helping him, and my calculations are always correct. Based on my calculations, the chance of you beating me are almost 0. That's what he said last time. Although technically he was right because he did beat Zach. Zach did not win that fight. He jabs at my face with his sword. The sword phases through my head. I stand up and phase through him. As I am now standing behind him, I turn into plasma and slam my body into him. He doesn't melt or burn like I expected. Instead, he shoves me back to the ground and turns around, facing me. I have learned something from our last encounter, he says. Now my costume is made of a heat-resistant compound. There is no possible way for you to penetrate it. So this is like, his whole thing is that he like constantly learns
So
and
why doesn't
improves his
Why
stuff.
doesn't, while he's phasing through him, turn that part of the body that's in him plasma
And then melt them
and
from
melt
the
it from the
inside.
inside?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. No possible way. I may not be the smartest guy out there, but I've taken a chemistry course in my junior year. There's no compound that is able to survive anything. Everything can be broken. Well, at a certain point.
Some
I guess.
things aren't meant to be broken, though.
Yeah. I wouldn't be sure about that, I say, as he is about to jab me with one of the black blades. I turn into plasma, yet again, but different this time. I try to become as hot as possible, as hot as the sun. I can almost see the shock in
How does
King
he not
Killer's-
melt through the floor?
I don't know, man. Maybe his feet didn't turn plasma. I don't know. Just turns the
Maybe.
top part. As hot as the sun. I can almost see the shock in King Killer's eyes as he feels the heat and sees the brightness. The sword he was about to jab me with melts. Now there's only one of the black blades left.
Not the black blades, come on.
Oh, there's only one. Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
The
it's
red
a
blade's cooler, though, so.
red blade. Yeah. The floor begins to melt underneath me. I had a whole story of like which character ends up getting the black blade next. Like a whole thing. Like somebody actually kills the King Killer.
Well, doesn't,
and
what's his
takes
name?
it from him or
What's his
something.
name has the red blade?
Red Blade
Oh, was it red
was
blade?
a woman character.
Oh, that's right. I
Or like,
forgot.
yeah, underneath me. Yeah, that was like, see, they knew about some of the other like stuff that was planned. Actually, Some of the there was some characters that they had come up with actually that were going to be in other books and stuff. I stand up and walk closer to him. The outside of his costume begins to burn. I see the fear in his eyes. This is the first time he had ever seen someone get this close to beating him. The killer becomes the killed. Oof. I grab his
Someone
arm.
else say something. Didn't Jameson say something just like that in the last chapter?
He did. He literally did. Literally the last chapter he was in, probably. I grab his arm as I sink into the floor. He screams as his arm is burned. Next thing I know, we both fall through the hole that the plasma created in the floor.
There's just lava underneath from all the melting metal.
I turn back to normal. I grab onto a pipe sticking out of the bottom of the hovercraft as I see a burned, bruised, one-armed, disfigured killer fall to his death.
He melted his arm clean off?
This is the first time his calculations were ever wrong, I think, as I climb back into the hovercraft. So... I don't think I made it so the character actually doesn't die. I think King Killer doesn't technically die here.
Oh, I mean,
because I had plans.
I just had some of his booms catch him.
I had plans for another.
Where was his booms in this fight?
I had plans for another future book.
Bams.
Boom is the
Booms
agency. Bam.
Yeah,
is...
Bam is
Bam.
the robots.
Yeah,
right.
Bam.
So I think he just wanted to do it himself this time. I don't know.
Well, that was a mistake
That
because
was-
he didn't make it very far.
Yeah. Well, he didn't expect him to turn as hot as the sun, I guess. So I think so there was a character named, who's another bounty hunter type character named, who ended up being more of he was going to become a main character of another book, named the Blade Wilson.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Blade Wilson. Oh, I forgot about him.
Obviously,
Which
it was
Blade
a play off
Wilson
of.
is
I thought it was funny because
What was this,
obviously there's
bad guy
Slade
name?
Wilson in DC
What
and
was
there's
this
Blade Wilson in
What is
Marvel.
Blade Wilson's bounty hunter name or whatever?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know if he had a different name. I think it was just Blade Wilson or Blade. He might have just been called Blade or something. I don't remember.
But he's a mercenary.
But he
just
literally has his whole thing is that he has a bunch of blades and he ends up getting the superpower to at some point he gets a superpower later many years in the future. That was another book I was gonna write. That was gonna be a separate one. But anyways, in the book about him, he has a mission to kill the King Killer, and then I think he does, and he ends up being the guy who has he takes the blade from him. So he ends up being the next guy to have the black blade. I know, spoilers, but for a thing that's never been written and probably never
Too
will
bad
be.
he can't have both black blades because somebody just melted it.
I know. Come on, Zach. But anyways, that's the end of that chapter. But yeah, he doesn't have his official of a death. He fell to his death, but when a character falls to their death and you don't see them die, they could still be left.
They're probably still alive.
Whiplash, on the other hand, his head just went clean off, so I think he's pretty much dead. Anyways, chapter 75. Jameson Thompson. I think we only have 2 more chapters left. Yep. I run at Deathblade as he begins to fly in the air again. He is now too high in the air for me to jump up to him. What do I do now? I can't let him get up there. He will stop Nate from being able to stop the bomb.
Yeah, probably not at this point.
I can't let him interfere with that. This is what I came back to life for. This is what God wants me to do. Come on, Jameson, think. You're supposed to be the smart one. You do calculus for fun.
Nerd.
You can certainly figure out a way to get up there. I look around and see that I am standing right in the middle of an airfield, right next to a helicopter. If only I knew how to use one.
He just happens to be right next to a
I
helicopter.
see a pilot climb into it. Perfect. Hey, sir. I say to him as he just so happens to be at an airfield, and that pilot so happens to be climbing in a helicopter.
It was God. Okay.
Oh,
God,
that's right.
God did it.
God provided the helicopter.
Yeah.
And the pilot. Hey, sir, I say to him as I run to the helicopter. What do you want? He says.
You're
as
what in the world? Get off my helicopter.
he pokes his head outside the helicopter. Could you get me a ride? A ride? What do you think I am? Some passenger pilot? Find another ride. Please, sir. It's really important. I need your help to save the world. Save the world? I've got a family to feed. I don't have time to save the world.
Oh yeah.
I love random
Ugh.
side characters, random.
This guy's my favorite
citi-
side
I
character.
love random citizen characters who just give the superheroes crap. Like that's one of my favorite things.
Well, I mean, it's a kid just running up asking for a ride in a helicopter. What are you gonna say?
I have time to save the world. If you think you're some superhero or something, why don't you just fly up there yourself? He finally agrees when I offer him money. He's like, oh, well, for a price. We fly up in the air. Out of curiosity, he says, how exactly are you planning on saving the world? Just keep flying and stop asking questions. I respond, all right, with all that money you offered me, I guess you do have a right to make the rules. As we fly, I see the hovercraft in its entirety. Oh, wait, it's not in stealth mode anymore?
This guy's probably like, what in the world is this?
What the?
Where'd that come from?
What are you getting me into, kid?
Is this Avengers? Where's Nick Fury? Hovercraft in its entirety. It's about the size of 100 blocks in our part of the city.
Jeez.
I expected it to be invisible.
That's huge.
I know.
That's like a couple miles.
I know. I expected it to be invisible or something, but I guess not.
Probably not.
Wow. Or maybe some of our characters
Actually, yeah.
disabled the system or the stealth system already. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Wow, the pilot says in shock. What the heck is that thing? It's enormous. Is it some kind of alien ship or something? See if you can land me on top of it, I say. There ain't no amount of money worth that. I ain't getting anywhere near that thing. Okay, have it your way. I step next to the door of the helicopter as we are now above the hovercraft. I jump off of the helicopter and land on top of it. I stand up to see Deathblade facing me. You came back to life, he says. He throws one of his weapons at my head. Instead of ducking, I grab it out of the air. Dang. He throws the other. I do the same. I have learned that dodging these things doesn't help much. I walk towards him. He presses the button on his gloves, which causes the blades to pull me towards him. I drag across the ground. He tries to grab onto the weapons
And you just stab him?
and take them from my hands, but my grip is too strong. I pull off his gloves and jab him in the stomach. You really thought you could kill me, I say as I see the life drain from his eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Man, this
Just
is
murder
violent.
everybody.
You were wrong. Deathblade is now dead. So these are definitely not the types of superheroes that are like, I don't kill. You know, they're definitely
Well, they're
like,
trying to save the world. I mean, if killing
Well,
them, makes it.
oh
These
no,
guys
I-
have all tried to kill
I
them
know,
more
but
than
it's
once.
just it's
so.
just funny because like usually the stereotypical superhero thing is like, oh, I don't kill. You know, Batman doesn't kill, Superman doesn't kill, or whatever. I don't know. Spider-Man doesn't kill. Chapter 76. Nathan Thompson. Crape takes us to a large room with a large window looking out to the sky and the city. The only ones in this room are Crape, Lee, Abigail, Shredder, and I. Who knows what they did with Mr. Black and Agent Scope? I spend as much time as I can hacking their computer system. Every time they look away, I do a little bit more. This is extremely difficult to hack. Who knows how long it will take? Look out this window, Crape says. What do you see? New York City, I say. That may be what you see, Crape says. But I see something more. I see a civilization that needs change, that needs a future. People have become so self-centered that they trample down on the weak to become stronger. Communism will end this. It has worked in the past. The only problem was that Russia was not strong enough to maintain it. I, with the help of an infection army, will have the strength and the power to change the world for the better. You're wrong, I say. Communism has never worked. It never will. It takes away people's freedom to build a good life for themselves. Stop talking before I kill you, Grape says. I'm not afraid to have your pet here murder you. He heads towards Shredder. Why don't you just do it now, I say. You have no reason to keep me alive. I am of no use to you. Do you have any idea why you are still alive? Crape says. It is because I know how much my daughter likes you. She would be heartbroken if you ever died. I will keep you alive. Unless you do something that will cause me to change my mind. this guy's not completely heartless. I know why you don't want me dead, I say. You know that it would cause Abigail to hate you even more than she already does. You don't want to have to kill her just as you killed your wife. I read his thoughts. He is furious with me. I just brought back his worst memory. He has had nightmares of it every night. Never mention that again, he yells as I see a tear fall down the side of his face. You can't deny it, Crape, I say. You could never kill Abigail because she reminds you too much of your wife. Joyce Crape. Oh, that's her name. Don't say that name. I think that's the first time we heard her actual name. He yells as he turns around, looking out the window. I look down at my iPhone and begin working as fast as I possibly can to hack it. I finally get to where all I have to do is scan my fingerprint and the missiles will be stopped. Just as my finger is about to touch the scanner, the iPhone gets knocked out of my hand and slides across the floor next to the window. I look up and see Crape standing above me, Lee standing behind him, holding Shredder's leash. I feel like Shredder would be too strong for a leash, based on like what we've heard of him.
Well,
Maybe they have one of their mind control things on him. I don't know. Although if they did, they wouldn't need a leash.
I just love how and then they captured Shredder. It literally was like, his skin is impenetrable, and then 2 seconds later they poke him with a needle and he passes out. You're like, wait a second.
I like your cleverness, Crape says. You are the smartest 13-year-old I have ever seen, but not smart enough. Lee lets go of Shredder's leash. Boom. End of chapter 76 and end of our episode today.
Oh my
2 episodes left.
2 left.
It's getting heated.
Shredder's about to frickin' attack Nate, apparently.
About to shred Nate. But
Really shred Nate. So our 3 bounty hunters are dead. Well, one of them I said wasn't actually dead because he comes back later. But presumably, for the sake of this book, he's basically dead. If this was the only book you ever had, you would assume he's dead. So 2 of them are very, clearly dead. Mm-hmm. Watch the life drain from his eyes. Other guy just got his head chopped clean off. Jeez. A guy just got 2 violent deaths in one episode here. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that means each character only has 2 chapters left. So we'll see how it all wraps up. Definitely very close.
Get eaten by Shredder?
Probably.
Probably not.
Honestly.
Actually,
No,
do you think he will, or do you think Shredder will remember him?
I don't know.
Help him.
Well, my guess is they did some sort of like brainwashing, mind control, something. Because remember, they did the same thing to John. We know they have mind control technology because they are using it on their bomb, on their Sibs. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's about all for this week. 2 more weeks and we will be done. Let me just, I think it's 2 more. Yeah, it's definitely 2 more. So 2 more weeks and we'll be done. And yeah, that's about all for today. So yeah, if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time for 2 more weeks at least. Then it'll be done. But yeah. So, yeah, and you can listen to it on either my YouTube channel, which is called NimTV, or you can listen to it on Spotify. There's links in the description to those. Or you can probably just search The Greatest Book Never Published and find it that way, or search NimTV if you want to watch it on my YouTube channel. You can also check out Nathan's YouTube channel, links in the description to that. It's called Nate the Great. So check that out. And that's about all. So thank you for listening this week. I'm Nim.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Steve.
Goodbye, everyone.
Peace out. Bye.